Okay, so this is an explanation of CBA1, what's involved. So it's 2 week, it's done in second year, over a 4 week period, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after Easter. Usually it's groups of 3 to 5 students. There are three things you can do. You can focus on the area of enterprise in action, which would be a business activity, finance in action, which is investigating a financial challenge, or economics in action, investigating something that the government maybe could do to boost the economy or do something for the economy. You're given a descriptor: exceptional, above expectations, in line with expectations, or yet to meet expectations. And there are 5 features of quality which will be discussed. So 4 things you're going to have to do as part of this. You're going to have to individually conduct research. You're then going to have to individually evaluate what you've learned from doing your research. What have you found out? And then you're going to have to evaluate what that means for the group, for the actual project you're looking to do. Then you'll have to develop an action plan, so something that should be done based on the research that the individuals and the group together have put together. And then you're going to have to report it, or have some kind of project that's going to demonstrate what the action plan should be. Okay, it's presented as a group project, with each student submitting an individual research sheet and an individual reflection sheet. So what that means is that if there's 3 people in a group, there will be 1 group project submitted and 2 sheets from each person involved. So if there's 3 people in it, that means there are 7 things that are going to be handed up. Okay, 2 sheets for each person, and then the 1 group project overall. Okay, so the economics action in action. So the question might be, how could something that is maybe an economic trend development be good or bad for where we live or for the whole country? Now, we might look at things like, what is listed there on the screen, water charges, anything to do with unemployment. You could talk about something at the moment like the housing crisis, homelessness, anything like that. How could it be good or bad for a country, and then what could be done about it? Okay. So if you're going to do this, then you would have to individually, you're going to have to do your own research and analyze your view of this problem. Okay. The group is going to then take all of the individual analysis that each person has done, okay, and look at how that might be good or bad for the economy, for society, and maybe for the environment. Then the group is going to have to come up with a plan for what the government should do to fix it. And you should have some research about with graphs and talking about economic indicators like unemployment, something like that. And then put it all together into a project to summarize our work over a 4-week period and supply with it an individual research template and reflection sheet to go with it. Okay. So if we look at the alternative, finance in action. So can we look into a financial challenge for a consumer and organization? So there's a couple of suggestions there. Budgeting for, let's say, family holiday might be maybe a straightforward enough one. Okay, so if we want to do that, then what's the process? So individually, you would all research and analyze some area to do with the problem. So you might decide to research the cost of dealing with this particular challenge. Okay, how much is the challenge going to cost? The group then evaluates everything put together. Okay, the cause and the effects on income and expenditure. How much would it cost? How is it going to affect our income? How long we have to plan for, etc. Okay. The group is then going to have to put a plan together to fix the problem. So how would you solve this financial challenge? And then put a project together to summarize our work over a 4-week period, along with the research documents and the reflection document. Now, the one that's been more popular in the past is enterprise in action. So how can we design and plan a product or service which people would want to buy? So you don't have to make the product, you have to think about how we could design it. So maybe develop product, suggest changes to existing product, maybe alterations, maybe make a prototype or organize an event of some kind. Okay, so these are what you could do. So the process involved. So during this, you will do some research individually, the potential. So you might decide to investigate what is the target market for this product. How much would it cost to make? What products similar to it are being made at the moment? Why is this product so much better? What might consumers feel about it? So then the group evaluates what we've learned from this product or this investigation, and what have we learned about the potential for bringing this product to market. The group then puts a plan together which talks about the elements of the marketing mix. This is the 4 Ps. So that might actually drive a lot of your research, is the 4 Ps. And then we compile a project to summarize the potential of the product. So you're going to put together a package that will show that you think that this product is likely to be successful if it was brought to market, or maybe there isn't really enough of a market for the product idea that you had in the first place. Over a 4-week period, you'll have your research and reflection templates to go with it. Okay? So now, the research template, what's included in it? So you would talk about what I have chosen to do, what research I've chosen. Is it desk or field? So I'm getting new information, or am I analysing previously published information? Where did I get the information from? What did I find out? Okay, and can I summarize it, put together in some kind of graphical picture? Okay, and then what new information did I find out from doing this? And what was surprising about it? Is it reliable? Could I trust it? Where I got this information from? So you have to consider reliability and bias. Is there a possibility that maybe the person or the information might have been unfair? So if I only interviewed one person, for example, then it might be biased because you're only getting their opinion. And then what is the one thing that I would need to tell the team that I have found out from doing my research? Remember, this is done by one person. So what will I tell my team that I have found out that is important for the overall project? So the reflection template. So we've talked a little bit about reflection before. So what was my job in this overall process? What did I do? Okay. So what research did I do and my analysis of it? How did I try and help the group put together a good quality plan? So my role and duties are different from how I help make the plan. So when we got stuck, when we had problems, when issues came up, when people didn't have work done, how did I help the group make sure that the plan stuck to task and we got it done right? And what did I do in the overall project? So what was my main role, okay, to make the project good, okay? Also, we think about how did the group work? So what things did we do wrong? What mistakes did we made that we might need to learn from? This is very important. So don't just say that our group is fantastic and we did everything well. Talk about how we coped with the mistakes we made, okay? So how do we fix them? And the next time, okay, if we were involved in group work again, what are the key things we need to think about? The good things about working as part of a group and maybe the bad things. We've already thought about that in previous exercise we've done before. Okay, so moving on. Once you've made your decision, you first have to choose what you're going to do. And as I said, previous groups quite often have looked at product potential, so that's the enterprise area. So what are you going to research? So your group needs to think about that. Who are you going to work with? So choose the names of the people who are going to be part of your group. How will you research your idea? So what will you do to find out information that will be relevant to the thing you're trying to find out about? Okay, so how will you go about doing it? And then this is where you start thinking about what is the group going to do. So each member of the group, you have to decide among yourselves who is going to research what and why do we think that's going to be important for the overall task. And then we'll get started into our project. So that's the steps involved, okay? So now, the features of quality are important. So before we start, we need to think about how your work is going to be assessed. How will we judge your work? And remember, this is going to feature in your junior cycle certificate of achievement, which is going to be the certificate you get at the end of your junior cycle. So first of all, you'll talk about your individual research. So what method you've chosen? Is it a good method? Okay, is it likely to give you good information And then did you provide lots of analysis? Did it give information that was going to be really important for the group and making sure we produced a good project? Secondly, we look at the evaluation. So the group then sat down and looked at the individual research, and all the group looked at the different pieces of research we had, and if we believed the information and we found it was reliable. Then the group put together an action plan. So this plan should be based on your evidence, on the research that you've done. It should be creative. It should be to make a really interesting product, something kind of new, something that's going to be relevant in the world today. The project then is showing off the plan that you've done. Okay, do I see a variety of different formats? Have you got some writing in there? You've got some graphs, some pictures to illuminate everything to make sure that people looking at it fully understand what the plan is all about. Okay, and then finally, the individual reflection. So what did I know before I started? What happened during the whole process? Okay, and how did I cope with that? And next time I got involved in a group project or even an individual project, what would I do differently? Okay, so what that does is that gives you an idea of what's involved in the CBA. I'm leaving that on OneNote so you'll have a chance to see it, but please bear in mind what you see on the screen, this is what you're going to be marked on at the end. Keep thinking about that, and I'll be putting that up on the wall so that as we go through the CBA, you'll be remembering these are the 5 things you're going to get marked on.